flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah. Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data. Soul, the hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? Happy Halloween. Let me make sure I got my audio coming in. Oh, yeah. We are loud and clear. We had some Papa Roach to fire us up tonight. We're going to be comparing Dot and WSU Kim. WSU Kim. And I got to tell you, I feel like it's time for us to pick a lane on both of these two. Okay? Every time that somebody sticks their nose into this case, it's they inserted themselves. They're lying. Anytime they say something that doesn't exactly line up with what we were told, people act as if that's anything new. You know what I mean? I'm not shaming anybody who wants to say that these people are fake or they're real. I'm simply saying right now before this stream starts that I'm going to completely make my own opinion on it based on what we hear together in this chat. I have not looked like deep into either of these two, so I'm excited to do so tonight. And you can't just believe half the story. Right? You can't believe half of it. We've been doing that for how long in this case? Believing half of the story is going to get us nowhere. Call us the conspiracy theorists. Call us whatever you want. We can theorize. We could talk about stuff, but you can't just pick and choose. If we're going to be the people that look through multiple lenses, we have to apply that to everybody. Right? It's not to say that what people have dug up or that they've found on these people is real or they're accurate. I'm in contact with Dot. I had an hour and 30-minute phone call with Will this afternoon. The only one that I have not contacted since last night when I got done on the stream is WSU Kim. That's it. So I am doing my due diligence. Okay. I'm trying my best to have my own opinion on this. Okay. I stopped looking into Dot on TikTok because of how many people in the chat would go, no, not Dot, no. Okay, well, how does Dot know that there was no ambulance until later and they had the street blocked off? How does Dot know about Murphy or the whistles? You can't pick and choose what you believe and what you don't. Is anybody surprised that the cops didn't follow up with her? I'm not. Nonetheless, I'm going to save the rest of that for after when I say what's up to everybody. So, Nana Cal, what's going on? Mrs. Birdie said, Birdie and I went to Olive Garden before this, so he's nice and carb loaded up for a good stream tonight. It's like preparing for race day. Yeah, that's exactly right. I had so many breadsticks before the entree got there, I could barely scarf it down, but it works. What's going on, Critic Rick? What's up, Rihanna? Rihanna? Crime Spot? Inked Malma? Wild West? Shelly Klein? 1-1, what up? Thank you, Nicole D, for the super sticker. I appreciate that big time. Jean? Molly? Philly Special, good to see you. Discord Dawn, what up? Rochelle? Princess Gumshoe? K Wolf? G Angel? UFO Dog? Jeanette? Karen Bell? UK Karen? Man, are your guys' usernames switching every chat? I could have swore that last night that said UK Karen. Pop and Switch, Amanda B from West Virginia. Wave.ether. What up, what up? Happy Halloween is right. The Worm, 1984. Ava, Latitude. Birdie's Bush Latte Fun. That's right. Well, I do have a Bush Latte. I don't know if my uncle, Detective Mowry's in the chat, but cheers. I love these Friday night streams. Gabby Girl, Speedy Bird, Jackie. Yeah. So the sheath photos, I am aware of them. Absolutely aware of them. I made a business decision, if that's what you want to call it, right? I already had this prepared. I figured I was just going to stick with it. But yes, I am looking forward to looking into those. What's up, Jane and Brandon? Donna. The girl from Texas, April. Her name is Rio. Another Brandon. Sensen. Shelly, thank you so much for the super chat or the super sticker. So super chats and the tips will pop up over here. The super stickers do not. Just so everybody's aware. Okay, so there's UK Kaylee Fiddlesticks. What is happening with these usernames? I can't handle it. I cannot handle it. What's up, Christy? Black Roses. Mitty Witty. Lydia. Princess Gumshoe. I believe I already said that, but I'll say what's up again. Crime Tourist. My mods will be dropping that regularly. What's up, Core? How you doing? Allison. If you're happy and you know it. First time on a Friday night. I love it. Amanda B, thank you so much for Baby Birdie. I love that. State of the Deep, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in, man. Miss Gambino. Yeah, these usernames just threw me off, so I'm probably going to say what's up to everybody now 3 different times. What did everybody all dress up as for Halloween? There is not a Baby Birdie Fun setup yet. No, but thank you for asking. Secret Soul Survivor, good to see you. It's lunchtime on Saturday where you are at. Wow. Time is trippy. Allison says the boys were Sonic and Knuckles. Big forehead, big dreams, dress up as a pile of laundry for real. The girl from Texas, April, says a woman celebrating being home alone. Amanda B says their trick or treat is tomorrow. Nurtured said a 65-year-old Social Security recipient. Shoe Booty turned the lights off. Molly's going as herself. Paula says we don't have it here. Where are you tuning in from, Paula? UK Kaylee says an exhausted and stressed nurse. You dressed up as a conspiracy theorist. Philly Special, which is also yourself. Yes, we find out the baby's gender, Mrs. Birdie and I, in the coming week or so. I'm going to go ahead. I'm convinced I'm going to be a girl dad. Every child we have, I'm convinced is going to be a girl. Fiji went as a lice agent, or does that say ice agent? Christ. Kayla says, my daughter and Catherine, or your daughter did Catherine from Vampire Diaries. Yeah, I know what that's referring to. What's up, Miss Gambino? Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously, I encourage everybody to do their own research on biopsies. For real. Look into it. Do not just take my word for it. Please, please, please do your own research on it. However, look into it. If somebody says you need a biopsy, just look into it. I don't want to be held liable for anything. I can only talk about, the studies that I've read based on my father's experience. But I'm sorry, Miss Gambino. Whew. Painted Dessert says, trick or treat, my birdie freaks. Christy stayed home and handed out candy. Mitty Witty thinks it's going to be a boy. What do you guys think? You guys think it's going to be a boy or a girl? And while people are answering that, Nene, Mrs. Birdie left our porch light on and left. I had no idea why people were at our door. I had to text her. She's like, it's trick-or-treaters. And I looked outside and there's a mob of 30 kids. We had no candy. It's pretty split for boy or girl, huh? Yeah, no morning sickness yet. Knock on wood for Mrs. Birdie. I'm seeing your comments, Juliet. It's going a little bit fast, but I can see them. Yeah, I think it's a girl. Are those like wives' tales? Are they accurate? Because, and Obs, you can correct me in the chat, but wasn't there something with like the heartbeat that you were thinking it was leaning more towards a boy? I'm not sure. My gut tells me girl. That's all that I know. Now it's interesting seeing what everybody says as far as like low belly or high belly. The Chinese calendar. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited to be a dad. Well, stay tuned. I will keep you all updated. All right. So before we get into this, because what we're going to be doing tonight is a live dig, we are going to look at Dot and we are going to look at WSU Kim. I know there's controversy around it. I know that everybody has their opinion on both of these two. Not here to debate. So actually, let's back up. Let's start with Dot. I'm not here to talk about, is Dot talking about themselves on behalf of somebody? Are they, whatever, right? What's their gender? What's this? What's that? Is that a voice changer? How old are they? At the end of the day, they're staying, anonymous. And that's how we're going to look at this call. Who has this information? Okay. People can dive into it. People can say, oh, their face was on camera. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. I'm aware of it all. All I want to do tonight is to listen and look at what was said. Same thing with WSU Kim. I want to look at, what do they say that's similar? What do they say that's completely different? What does the PCA say? And one of the things that I wanted to do in the beginning of this stream was talk about initial thoughts. Okay. So I'm aware of it all. I'm aware of what everybody says. Like I get it. Dot, how many people think if this was your first time hearing her, it would be real? Okay. Just based on what content was said. Now, you have to be aware of this interview. I know that there's people, even last night, that have never heard that interview. And then WSU Kim. Real? Fake? Which one do you think is more credible? Dot or Kim? Or both? Long Gone says, I believe it's real. Big Forehead, Big Dream says, I think Dot's telling the truth. Happy Halloween, Kimmy. Oceans 1111 says, OMG, here we go again. Can't y'all stop? I don't know what that's in regards to. Secret Soul Survivor said, I've not heard Dot, but I've heard Kim. Lucy thinks Kim is more credible. Sleuther Dare says, I've never heard Kim. Judy says both. Shelly says both. UK Kelly says Kim. Beauty for Ashes says Dot. Nana says both. Christy G says, who the is Dot? We got Teresa saying both. Another Teresa saying Dot. Latitude Dot. Karen says Dot. Julie says Dot. Or Jules says Dot. Dina Dot. Broccoli Rob. Kim. Marianne Kim. My pug Mimi both. Now, here's a better question. 1-1. That's the type of answer that I like. Which, by the way, my answer is that I have no idea. You know? And we got about 40% likes. As I said last night, for the love of God, please let this be the only time that I say this. Just hit the like button. It's free. It helps the channel out a ton. It helps the Hive out. It spreads the word. Our entire goal of doing this and the whole, power to the collective is to spread the word. We know there's more people out there that think like us. This is a very new channel. So liking it, sharing it, subscribing, it helps everything. And it costs you nothing. If this is your first time tuning into the Hive Mind, I'm your host, Birdie. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. So if you hate to think critically, you're not going to like me. You're not going to like people in the chat. However, if you are the person who reads the footnotes and questions the headlines, you are amongst friends and you have found your people. Thank you to everybody that did just go ahead and give a like. Now, I have an honest question, okay? I'm ready to start diving into it here. Can somebody tell me the motivation that Dot, and you can apply this to either Dot or WSU Kim, would have to lie? I'll start putting some up on the screen. It could be anything. What's your theory? Why would they insert themselves into this case? They like attention. Okay. Attention. Misdirection, which I would challenge that and say, did either of them provide misdirection from what did they provide misdirection from? The narrative, right? So Dot craves attention and is an emotional vampire. Attention. Stella Bella says FBI mole. Long Gone says that kind of attention would put anyone in danger. No, yeah, I'm aware, Brandon. I know. I'm just riffing off that. Secret Soul Survivor says either attention or misdirection. Janet says to seem important. The girl from Texas, April, says Kim came forward because of her children. Lady Black Sheep says no one else was talking. Brenda says they knew about corruption of that town. Christy G says to spread rumors. Miss AFY, Miss F, to feel useful. Mike Nugent said they are both feds. I'm not even going to lie. Maybe. Everybody's a fed in my mind at this point. Shit. How would you know half that? We're trying to get them on these technicalities of a story that's been completely fabricated to us. We know the fake story better. That's what we're arguing. So, did you believe them at first? No. Well, then they come out and they say, I made it all up. Well, I believe that because I didn't believe you at first. So why are you believing them that they're lying? It's kind of like you can't have both, at least in my mind. Not everything said, I don't know if it could even be 100% accurate based on information that we would know. I mean, we're talking about a person who lives near them. The case is not about people that live near them. There's nobody else talking about what goes on in that area that's not either really sketchy or completely sticking to the narrative. These people seem to provide more information in the way that we seem to think and hear than anybody else. So here's, oh no. All aboard. Oh. All right, Detective Mowry, let's do it. You guys are going to make UFO dog cry. We understand. She may have lied. That's all right. What a reasonable comment, Miss Gambino. You know what? I don't believe Dot, but I'm okay with other people believing her. We can all come to our own decisions. Heart emoji. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so for people that don't know Dot like came out of the woodwork, went on a couple of people's shows, and claims that she lived next to 1122, was smoking a cigarette, saw Dylan amongst other people smoking weed in the morning. She had no idea anything was going on. She heard a whistle for Murphy. She left her house the following day at like 1 or 1:30. Said that when she saw the ambulance, it wasn't until hours later she had to walk down and around because the street was blocked off. Now, this is all, again, I still can't find the official date because a lot of the videos are like edited or there's people that are reacting to it. But is it a like a safe assumption to say what? 2 years ago, almost on the dot. Miss Conspiracy says, Birdie, I'm not a Fed, or I'm not a red. I think you meant Fed, but you can bet your ass I'm not a red, but you can bet your ass I'm on a Fed. I see what you did there. Rochelle says, didn't Dot say that she lied, but only about it being her that saw it? The person she heard it from was afraid to come forward. She knew too much that we didn't know about until recent. That was my understanding too. So, like I said, I don't know if Dot is listening. I've been texting via Discord with Dot. We're going to have a conversation on the phone. I told her it's not going to be a gotcha type of thing. If anything, I want to clear up just that. Did you come out and say that you lied flat out, or did you try to clarify something that has now been taken way out of context? And then I just want to ask general questions. Same thing with WSU Kim. If anybody knows how to get into contact with her. But okay, we listened to Dot last night. So today or tonight, this is the only video that I could find. It's from Who to London. That I could find of like the most original interview, and shout out to my mods for sending me this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play this. I'll pause it when I hear something. But good luck trying to find like a very original copy of this video. Even on Reddit, the link is no longer available, which shouldn't that tell you something? Wait, is Dot in here? I just saw somebody say, hi, Dot. Yeah. Well, True Crime Design, love her videos. Oh, thank you, Gianna Gambino. That's such a cool name, Gianna Gambino. Is there, well, you don't have to answer. Gambino, very prominent name. Any relation? You can just type a 1 if it is. But yeah, I want to get Dago up here. That's probably overdue. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start to play this. This is WSU Kim. Okay. Their daughter went to WSU. Okay. Which is very interesting because it's not the University of Idaho. The schools are extremely close, as you guys all know. Yeah, Drunk Turkey does have the interview. Does have an interview. I tried to find it. It was like an hour and a half clip, but I believe that this is pretty close to the OG, because I listened to this one and this has a lot of the same talking points, enough to get the point across.
I said, how did Morgan find out? She said, well, there were 2 high-fives in the house. And I said, and they didn't get killed. And she said, no. And I said, why? And she said, I don't know. She said, what I heard, what she was told was that they heard the noise. They went down to the basement.
So Mark and Betty said, why are you going over things that were covered 2 to 3 years ago? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because there was thousands of documents dropped and thousands of pictures dropped and body cam footage that's released that we didn't have 2 or 3 years ago.
locked themselves in Bethany's bedroom and just assumed people were partying. And I said, why would they assume somebody's partying? She goes, because it's a party house. I said, qualify that, please. She goes, you know, like drugs and stuff. And my first thing was, do you go there? And she's like, no, Mom, I've never been there. And I said, how do you know? She goes, Mom, everybody knows. I don't know how I know. I just know that everybody knows or whatever. That's just, you know. And so, which I have to take that with, yeah, they just, I mean, when you live in a neighborhood, you know what your neighbors are doing.
Right. Right.
So I have no reason not to believe that. And Bethany and Dylan were downstairs, and they had seen a guy outside in the back, and 2 or 3 guys were in the house, including the creeper, which is what she called him. And I never got a name for who the creeper is, right? Ever. But he was referred to as a creeper. And then there was 2 people out front. Or that part of it is there was not just one person there. There was more than 3 people. More like it sounded from everything that's gone through and from the notes I kept and what the FBI I've told them and verified with them is that it's probably 6 people were there, and they were afraid.
Serious?
Yes, that is in the note. So there wasn't just one person there. So, and I said, well, what? And so then the next day, so that's not setting well. That there was somebody there, but I didn't. I assumed they called 911. I mean, like her. And then when I heard that 911 wasn't called till noon. And this starts in the middle of the night or early morning hours, whatever, late, like at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever time it was, that again, I'm like, I called her and I'm like, why did they call 911? I don't know, Mom. I mean, honestly, it was like Groundhog's Day in my house because they were coming home for Thanksgiving that week. And I just kept calling her. And I'm like, why did they call 911? I don't understand. Okay, I called the FBI with the information I had. I had called Moscow first, and then made the.
So between Dot and WSU Kim, they both said. So Dot said that they went to MPD, filled out a form, like slid it under the glass, described all that. WSU Kim's talking about the feds right here. Again, even early on, we have to give some credibility to it not being followed up on because that has stayed true, right? Dot, this is not Dot, by the way, this is WSU Kim, but Dot had said they already had their narrative. That held pretty true, in my opinion. This is WSU, yes. WSU Kim, correct.
Report, but not trusting Moscow because there's a lot that goes on there in general. I then followed it up with the call to the FBI, and it was state lines. We were in Washington State, they were in Idaho. And so I made the report, and then as more information, somebody owed money, was divulged, and then somebody supposedly stayed at my daughter's house that didn't, because I never saw them, who became an alibi, became a huge problem. But I said, so did they stay there or not, Peg? And she's like, well, yeah, they said they did. And I said, but Peyton, no, there you go, dropping your name, oh, it's okay. And I said, I dropped you off and I didn't see her. I walked up to your room. I think I might have collected even her dirty laundry because I was going to put it in the car to take back home because she was coming home in 4 days. And I went out to the car and I never saw them. And she goes, well, maybe they were in her suite mate's room. And I'm like, with her parents? Because all the parents stayed in the house except for us. So every room was filled with parents and students, and nobody was in the living room. And we picked you back up at 8:30 or 9 in the morning, and no one was there. So, are you sure? And so then.
So this is everything she told you?
Yes, and so then, and I did, and so I told, of course, the FBI. I called the FBI immediately and told them. And then a couple days later, I'm like, I don't understand where they slept. I could get maybe. Just she stayed in your suite mate's room, but nobody was in your room but you. She says no, but they just said they stayed there. Yeah. So okay.
What?
I know. So I said, she goes, well, I don't think actually he was there. And I said, so you're saying that just she stayed there? Was there. And I said, so you're saying that just she stayed there and he wasn't there? And he came back and picked her up in the morning, like around 7:30, which two of the people being looked at, that was what their alibi was. There was a lie. So I called back the FBI back and I said, look, this is, I think, discovered a lie. And I didn't. I called, at that point, we had been assigned a police officer, and it was Idaho State Patrol. And Daniel from Drunk Turkeys has all of the information, the phone numbers, and all the phone call logs and stuff. And he's
Love the show too, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome back to my Meta the Crime channel. My name is Judy London.
I think it continues. Maybe it doesn't. Damn. Where can I find the full WSU Kim? I was under the impression that it was this. I can't find it anywhere. I only got about 4 minutes on my own, downloads. Somebody said, I'm saying, like, what's the original one? Like the original one. Because T-Rev. All right. Actually. One second here. So this is T-Rev 757.
Guys, so much for popping that out. I'll restart the intro here. Yeah, as you come through, please hit. Holy shit! There's a lot of fucking people in here. Careful. 240 people in here and 61 likes. Do you think something is missing, or do you think something was added?
And if my the truth, I'm not going to be.
Oh Lord, it's already starting in the chat here. Just keep it. Do no personal attacks, guys. I do have a mod in there as well that's going to be keeping eyes out. Let me make sure this. And again,
is this just a reaction video? Why is this video so hard to find?
Immediately after this round, piece link to
Christ
to speak with you, the detective, because I had questions, real concerns. And it was like December, and I can send you those receipts if you want my phone records. I have sent you everything. I trust that you will not share what I have sent you. Besides the fact it's the things nightmares are made of, it's heart-wrenching. I'm not here for anything other than the fact that our children are not safe there. And I love police officers. My godfather is a New York City firefighter. I love police. I was taught to call them police officers, not cops, not anything else. I respect them. But when it's bad, or when some are bad, where do you go? Who do you call? Who do you speak to? When you have information you didn't even ask to have, and you wind up with it. And yes, I trust my source. I trust my source. And the reason I'm not gagged is because I said no. If you don't tell me the truth, I'm not going to be gagged. I'm going to scream from every rooftop until there is justice for these children, and until these kids on these campuses are safe. There's 2 campuses here. And yes, there are 6 more dead bodies. One is a U of I student who was a journalism major, who died over spring break when he was in Seattle. And the two people who actually are responsible for his death are sitting in jail in Centralia, Washington, just so you know that. There's another 5 people, including the SWAT kill at Wazoo. Drug-related suicides. They never tell us the truth. There's no transparency in these schools. Literally, they own me. My life savings is in these schools. I trust them. And my kid just wants to graduate from there. Yes, I moved 2 of my students. They're not going to school there anymore. But these kids are walking around like they're safe and they're not. I'm here because these kids aren't safe, and justice will not be served until every single one of these people involved is adjudicated and is in prison or whatever happens to them. I don't know if Koberger did it. I do not know that. I don't know he did. I don't know he didn't. But if he's my kid, I'm going to say to him, what are you doing? Like, why are you even being considered for this crime? He had to put himself out there, right?
Right. So you're saying that Kohlberger is not our guy? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying
I'm not saying he is or he isn't. That information I don't know. I do know information that I have given to law enforcement, and I've just now only called the FBI in Virginia because the truth is I do not trust law enforcement, and it's a really uncomfortable way to feel like I can't trust law enforcement.
Sorry, T-Rev, I was cutting out there.
In Pullman or in Moscow is really hard. I mean, it's just goes against everything I believe, who I am.
One of the things that's interesting too is like a lot of the early video footage like this, like if you guys realize, like it's hard to find even the news footage of like the cop right here. At least in my opinion, not in the window, but walking down the steps.
To feel like I can't trust law enforcement.
Sorry, T-Rev, I was cutting out there.
In Pullman or in Moscow is really hard. I mean, it's just goes against everything I believe, who I am as a person. But they're not being honest. They're not being transparent. The kids know what's going on. The kids are terrified. When my daughter said to me, "Stitches get stitches," that
snitches get stitches.
That's what my daughter said to me. This girl who grew up in this upper middle class home doesn't like where this isn't a thing. It's something she grew up with, right? It's not crime where we live, or she wouldn't know these kind of things.
Thank you, Gianna Gambino. And you are in my prayers. I hope you get a great night's rest. Put your feet back, relax. And even though you're out of the chat, we're going to be, diving into all of this. I appreciate everybody that is in the chat, but I do understand if there's nights where it's like, I'm in the chat every night. It's a lot. I just want to sit back. I want to relax. I want to watch. That's also fine. But keep Gianna in your prayers, everybody.
Thanks. Why does my daughter know this now? Snitches get stitches. And one of the alibis was supposed to be in the same place I was because it was Parents' Weekend at Wazoo and wasn't there. So what does that tell you?
I don't know if I'm. Can you kind of start from the beginning, because I kind of came into this and I'm out there a little bit. I don't understand where you're coming from. So what are you alleging that you heard or saw?
One of my biggest effing pet peeves with people looking back. Yes, this is Monday Morning Quarterback. Fine. Come at me for that. There are so many snarky tones towards people in the beginning. Put yourself in Kim or Dot's shoes or Will's shoes. Dude, I could tell you firsthand just by questioning it, you have to have thick skin. I can't imagine putting myself out there. Like, I'm just commenting on it to say I lived next door. I was smoking a dart and I saw Dylan, Emma, and Demetrius smoking a joint out on the couch where they always do. I heard a scream at 3. I heard a whistle for Murphy. Guys, I have had threats for saying, what if they got the wrong guy? By normal people. They're not normal. Actually, they're effing psychotic. I have an entire list, which might be psychotic on my part. Okay? But I'm telling you, these people, they are all out of list. Their comments are with my lawyer. They have screenshots, and that's not me overdoing it. It's more so just protecting myself. And they're like, Birdie, you have a lawyer, you have this, you have that. No, well, it's like I've had to completely separate my business and this YouTube channel because of these psychos. And yeah, so anybody watching that has done that shit, you are. All the comments, everything. I don't even have to go through the comments anymore. It's under an umbrella that has people monitoring it to this day because of some of the shit that's been said. Because it used to be under an LLC that has investors, that has everything done on the up and up, and you guys probably didn't know that. So you're not just threatening me, which is hilarious.
Or someone told you, just kind of cliff note it for me so I can.
Okay, I will try.
Okay.
Because I'm a little wound up, and the dude in the corner. I'm sorry if I was rude to you. I didn't mean to be rude to you. It just struck a chord this morning, so I apologize for that.
You owe me no apology. It's okay.
And so we're all in. So it was Parents Weekend,
and also no, the business has not been affected. If anything, it's grown because most normal people are like, oh wow, this person stands up for something. He's not a pussy. He's got a backbone. He believes in what he's doing. He's not just trying to, grift. He's not trying to do X, Y, or Z. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to defend myself to anybody because it's like, I'm doing this because I like it. Miss Governor Pincus says, blessings. I'm in every live. Love hearing than KSTO, you and this great Hive fam. I love you. Well, we love you too, Miss Governor Pincus. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm also not just going to, lose my mind about that aspect of it. That's fine. That's for me to deal with, but it's hilarious. These people think that they're doing the most when they're really doing the least. If anything, they're hurting themselves. I'm not making threats towards anybody. You do realize that what I'm doing is way more safe and comfortable than you saying, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, or I wish you were X, Y, and Z. You realize how dumb you must be. I actually know how dumb you are. That you take the time to sit there and then comment the stuff that you do. It's remarkable. I could go and I could have a stream a night about these comments. I'm not doing that for anybody to feel bad for me. I'm just saying, put yourself in Kim and Dot's shoes. That's all.
We have students over at Washington State, obviously. People know that. And we get an alert on our phone around 5 o'clock or so, 4 o'clock maybe, about the kids being gone. I immediately call one child. My husband immediately calls the other two. I didn't mean to. Just they knew at 10 a.m. I'm like, how did you know? We knew. We just knew. And I really can't say publicly this part of it, honestly. And I know.
And LL Glassman says, and thank you for the super chat. On Kim, I have 8 kids. The kids always know. If you are connected to the kids, you also know. Anybody in the Hive that has that has a kid, type a 1 if you understand that aspect of it. I don't have kids yet, but I can tell you, if my mom was sitting right here, and Detective Maurer, you better shut your bitch ass up. Don't say a word about this. She would, and she was listening to me, I know that she would do exactly what WSU Kim is doing. Marianne, thank you for the super chat, says, would we believe WSU Kim more if she was a mom or if she was a man or a dad? There's always that societal scale, right? I don't know specifically in this case, because I've also seen Will get discredited by what and who people call a very credible true crime creator because of motocross. Again, it's not a knock. It's just like, I couldn't believe it. I literally could not believe it. So I don't know. I think it depends on the situation you're inserting yourself into more than anything. You're right. I do have a kid. It's just in the oven still. It's cooking. Yeah, I got Will coming on here sooner than later. I tend to agree with this, Betty Blue. And I'm not trying to sound like a mama's boy, and my dad was a very honest man. But when it comes to kids, and it's like the mama bear, right? I feel like that does tend to be more believable. That could just be me. I don't know. Like, I feel like when you see a mom get protective over their kids, it's like, whew. I don't know. That's my experience. Miss Governor Pincus says, I love to sit back and listen and take everything in, and I take notes and I write it down. My comment did not come out correctly. I think exactly how everybody does in this hive. Thank you. I'm mom number one. Top dog. And thank you, Miss Governor Pincus, for the super chats. I just think there's something. It's like everybody knows when their dad gets mad. It's like, whew, okay, holy shit, dad is pissed. At least my experience was like, now when you see dad mad and then mom's mad and it's like bad cop, no matter what the situation, it escalates way higher than just dad mad. It'd be like, okay, dad's pissed at us. But if dad's pissed at us and mom is mad at us as kids, well, we're cooked. It was never mom mad at us, dad comes in and calms it down. No, it was like dad's mad at us. Mom can kind of come in and like soften the blow a little bit. No, you did not want my mom, and I know she watches, so mom, but we got the wooden spoon. And then after getting the wooden spoon, my brother and I were only 3 years apart. We would have to sit in the kitchen chairs, like facing each other and hold hands and apologize for however old we are combined minutes. So like if we were 13 and 10, we'd have to do that for 23 minutes. Like that was our punishment. Yeah, type a 1 if you've had a wooden spoon broken on your ass. I'll type mine right now. Yeah, there's people going 1, LOL. Gypsy says, yeah, mom had us all day while dad was at work. Quote, wait till your father gets home. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said more like a tree branch. Christ. I could totally see this. Like she like sidearms it. So wave.ether says no wooden spoon, but my mom could throw a slipper around a corner. I could just picture like a MLB pitcher, like submarine pitcher, sidearming it, putting spin on like a boomerang slipper. Yeah, it was a different time for sure. Bithke says in the 50s, my mom and her sister had their hair tied together for the whole day. Holy fuck. The whole day? All right, I don't want anybody to have flashbacks if it was too far over the line. Jeez. Bobby Bucket said my mom gave me a fly swatter. All right. Well, I guess we're just gonna we're diving headfirst into this. Okay. Yeah, trigger warning. Was a fly swatter a thing? I never got that. I never got the fly swatter. Braided together hair. Wait, who just said the handcuff thing? Somebody said handcuffs? Oh, I've said a prayer before. I put a couch pillow in my shorts before. Oh, I agree, Black Roses, but it's also like it's a different day today. I personally feel like it's a way different time. So I was born in 94. I remember being in elementary school in whenever that was. What would that have been? 2000? No, 99. I remember there was like a teacher or two that would spank still. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, Shelly. So like I would put a couch pillow in my shorts knowing that my dad was going to come home and be pissed about the fact that my little brother and I were hanging on the garage door to see how high we could hang on the way up, and we completely collapsed it. So but all right, let's get back to this.
That frustrates people. I'm not being coy. I'm not looking for attention. I just really can't say that because it might compromise things. I could tell you, detective, this because you're a detective, but I can't just share it publicly with the world. That's not good for the case. I understand that.
So I'm not trying to interrupt you. Am I referring to 3434, or do you have a first name you want to give, or no?
No, I definitely do. You know what? Obviously, people think they know who I am, but I'm not going to do that. No, I don't. You would walk by me and not even know who I'm not looking for notoriety.
All right.
And I'm not. We already have eyes on my child.
So right you now. You have children at WSU.
I recognize your voice. I recognize your voice. You're from the video I was looking for. That's not there, correct?
It's not there, but it's not because Kaylee's parents wanted it down. It's truly because people were threatening to harm her. People are threatening to harm everybody. This is not safe.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit here. So
What's the obsession coming through here with a super chat here? Give me 1 sec. Let me make sure I got that up here on the screen. $4.99. Thank you very much. You don't say no. You don't say no to a gag order. That's not how it works. She's not under the gag order because she's not relevant. So super annoying. Yeah, she would definitely not be under any kind of a gag order. Well, we learned today that the Consalves family isn't even under the gag order. That was news to me. That's all we've been hearing, right? That they were under the gag order this entire time. Turns out they're actually not under the gag order either.
So if I'm understanding this right, you have children that go to WSU.
Correct. I did have 3, but now I have 1, and she walks in a few days.
So what you're saying is at 10 a.m. on the morning of the homicides, at 10 a.m. before anyone else knew, that your children knew and some other students knew about the homicides.
Correct.
So the phone calls that allegedly went out from the survivors could have, or social media could have got out to any of them. So yeah, they would know about it before the police even knew about it. Is that what you're alleging? Okay.
Yes, correct. And then I did call the FBI immediately.
Okay.
Now you said all right, so a lot of people in chat are saying you said you were there on the 13th.
Hold on. That was edited. What I said was I called FBI November 13-ish. I now only call the FBI office in Virginia, but I was calling Moscow Police Department, local FBI in the beginning, not beginning until I stopped trusting them. So how do you think this video is edited? 3434. Do you think something is missing, or do you think something was added? Because I don't think this video is edited. I'm just going to say that.
I was there. It was Parents' Weekend.
Okay.
And the reason my daughter didn't tell me right away is because she loves school. She loves college. And she knows I would have put her.
Hollis, Detective John is a retired detective with credentials. I really like that dude on here because he was asking really good questions. Like, I like that dude, man. T-Rev's got a good one there with Detective John. I've heard him mention him numerous times. It's the first time I've actually seen him.
Ass in the car and taking her home. Like, it wouldn't even have been a question at that moment.
Is there an invite or an email that went out to you inviting you to Parents' Day?
Well, I think.
Or T-Rev, can you look that up? Go to Washington State's website and look up when Parent Day was.
And you have my daughter's name and you have my full name, right? And please, I'd ask you not to share it. But feel free to go through.
No, I'm not going to share it. You asked me not to. I'm not.
And I sent the things I sent to you privately because, well, first of all, they're horrifying. I get that. How could I even make that up? Like, how could I even make that up? And I don't think that all of the family members know about it. I only know about it because
$13.99 super sticker. Wait a minute.
Dude, okay. Let me just say this. I have... one second. All right. I have tried to watch like 10 minutes of so many videos where it starts off as WSU Kim and then it turns into this. Same thing with like Swamp Rose. It's like, you know, the one that I saw was like, here's a 2-minute clip. I cannot find, I have a 4-minute clip. That's it. I can't find the one where it's like the chick holding the phone where it's on speaker being recorded. That's the one that I'm trying to find. Okay. I spent like an hour and a half trying to find these, like the original video. Dot, you can find many places. But when you go to WSU Kim, even on Reddit, so many links. I know the Drunk Turkey Show, but that's not, I'm 99% sure that the WSU Kim original phone call was somebody recording a phone that was on speaker that says WSU Kim. That's how the name was a thing, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I've checked Dago. I've checked all of them. They may have had WSU Kim on, but I'm talking about just the lady holding the phone. Have a good night, Mrs. Gambino. Thank you again so much. Yeah. Right. That's the one that is like the original WSU Kim. Yes. Everything else is a call in after that video. So, yes, well, she may have been on Drunk Turkey. She may have been on Dagos. She may have done all this other stuff. I'm talking about, and I don't have the video. I didn't save it. But I have a 4-minute clip if you guys want to hear it for what that's worth. So this is, I'll show you guys this quick. This is 4 minutes that I have back on TikTok. So I can upload this, but it's going to get cut off halfway. No, because I remember. So with this, Luna, I remember I extracted the audio for the TikTok and I put a documentary, like videography of the timeline above it because I played it on a live. It wasn't from another like main creator. Juliet, it's this. I hope you guys know what I'm saying. Like which video I'm talking about. Because I understand that there's other people that have like had WSU Kim on. There's like a very, very specific video. It's like darkly, it's like not lit good. It's just a phone on speaker. Yeah. If it was from a documentary though, then like if that clip was, I guess I don't remember that. I didn't know if you were saying that because I was on CJ's channel. And this should tell us everything that we need to know, right? Like if WSU Kim's crazy, then yeah, I was just texting Lana about this. That's funny. I was like, "Do you have them?" And she was like, "Yes, I have them." LTL Media. And guys, like I said, I mean, I've looked long and hard for this now. Kim, did you and thank you, Blue Eyed Candy, so much. Kim, did you email me it? This is just so frustrating. Well, and that's a 3-hour clip. What's the timestamp? No. I mean, thank you, Juliet. I don't even know what to say. This is just unbelievable. You guys, here's what I'm going to say. Did you guys read those autopsy reports? This invisible DNA at this point put this man away for 4 life sentences and bent him over the barrel completely. Oh my God. All right. Let's see here. Top left side. So the left side, side A, is the area swabbed. Let's see if it says, do you detect any substance like blood, dirt, etc., if it were not for the notes? So I said, do you detect any substance like blood, dirt, etc., if it were not for the notes? Looking purely at the visual evidence in the photo, ignoring the forensic annotations, the sheath appears very clean with no visible signs of blood, dirt, or biological residue. The leather tone shows a consistent tan correlation. The seams and rivet are intact. The strap and the snap, the blade portion outline. Visually, the sheath looks unused. Dude, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I'm gonna rotate this. Dude, does this? Oh my God. I'm going to get my tinfoil hat. Okay. Does this even look like actual handwriting? Does that look like real handwriting? Who the hell writes this perfect of an S ever? Are you kidding me? And yeah, thank you, Luna, for sending me that. I gotcha. Thank you, cats. I mean, seriously, does that even look like real writing? It looks typed. Nobody writes that neat. That looks like a literal. I mean, I get it's girly writing. I mean, guys, this is immaculate. I've never seen an S handwritten that neatly. And to all you trolls that are watching and saying, Birdie thinks it's fake because someone has neat handwriting, I would test 100 random people. If anybody writes side A like that their first time, I will pay them $100. Are you kidding me? No, I know people take their handwriting serious, but Christ. I don't know. All right, moment of truth. Maybe I take that $100 back, but is the handwriting next to the sheath typed with a font? Oh, fuck. Well, all right. I guess I would owe 100 people $100. According to ChatGPT. Birdie is saw diagrams of the wounds do. And there's no way that sheath was there during the crime. I agree. I agree completely. I agree completely. And thank you, April Seeks Justice. Not only that, there's so many things that with the autopsies, they don't make sense. One, does anybody that walks inside of that house on the body cam footage get blood on their feet? Did Hunter have blood on their feet? Did Hunter have blood on his hands for taking the pulse? Dude, I'm going to give a very unpopular opinion here. I think that Dot tells more important details than WSU Kim. People are going to hate on that. That's okay. That's just my opinion. Dot talks about, well, yes, WSU Kim talks about a shakedown. I think Dot gives 3 a.m. She gives Murphy. She gives names of people out there the next morning. She talks about the street being blocked off. No ambulance until later. Yeah. Wait, where did that go? Yeah, Holly, I agree. They all tell more details than Molly. What's up? Wait, OG Dot? Is that Dot? OG Dot 2 Dot? How the hell do you say that? I'm having a stroke. Is that actually Dot? Oh, shit, it is. What's up, Dot? What a time to pop in as I'm like, I think Dot is telling way more truth than WSU Kim. Did you like the thumbnail, Dot? Sorry for the liar thing. To an extent, the AI or the thumbnails are AI generated. So it's just a description. How about this is the third murder Millie has been involved in? I think she might be guilty. Totally agree. Dot new shit that didn't come out until now. Is Molly the contact Dylan added? Well, Dot, I know you and I are talking offline. Are you okay if I ask you like 1 or 2 questions right now and I'll put them up on screen? They're not going to be anything wild, just more so opinion questions that I would ask anybody in the hive. And thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Well, Dot, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to say this. One of the things that you said very early on, people will say this was out there. It was not out there. You had talked about the wounds to the victims. Autopsy reports just got released. Would you say that from how it was described to you, are the autopsy reports accurate, worse, downplayed from what you were mentioning in like your original like interviews or phone calls? And hopefully Dot is live in the chat, not behind. Oh, Dot's gone. No, Dot's in here. We shall see. I won't wait too long just because I know we're talking offline. Do 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 do. All right, now I'm checking my phone. Yeah. Gosh. Okay, so Dot says, yes, they are accurate, especially Ethan's cut to the back of his legs. I mean, obviously, there's now people saying, is this the real Dot? I was talking to you on Discord. I guess we didn't talk about your YouTube username. No, I saw it. I saw it. Okay, you know what? What I'm going to do is this. Dot has been kind enough, again, to message me on Discord. I'm just going to continue to chat with them offline. We have a time picked out coming up here soon. We're going to talk offline, and then we are going to discuss what we will do moving forward. But yes, it's going to be epic, I think. Because the Hive is the spot for people like Dot, for people like WSU Kim. Genuinely. You know what I mean? It really is. We got great mods. We got people with open minds. I'm not going to cut you off in the middle of a point. You know, and I think it's an opportunity to kind of like, I think it's an opportunity to lean in to people that say, hey, this is fake. Hey, this is real. I mean, let's just clear it up. Let's just clear it up. I mean, you know, Carrie says that Dot heard that from WSU mom Kim. Dot. Stop playing. It's mean. You confess you didn't tell the truth. Okay. Carrie, why do you believe that she confessed she didn't tell the truth, but yet you didn't believe the other stuff that was said? And side note, are you just copying and pasting the same comment over and over again? Okay, we can clear this whole thing up instantly. Let's just watch Melissa Jade. Okay. Right now, Dot? Are you serious? Hang on. I'm going to hit you up on Discord right now to make sure this is the same Dot. Okay. Okay, for Christ's sake, Carrie, we hear you. I put 3 of your comments on the screen. We hear you. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like you don't have to type in caps. We get it. You don't believe Dot. Okay. It's her. All right. Just give me 2 seconds, Hive. I'm working on this. All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send this link. And this is for Dot coming into the chat right now. And then Dot, you don't have to give access to your camera either, unless you want to. I know. Just don't have me on video. I got you. Yep, it was in the chat. Thank you guys for bearing with me. You know what I'm going to do is, oh, you know what? No, I'm not. Dude, hey, first of all, here's the thing. Okay, Dot has entered. All right. Dot, are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I want to make sure that the the hive can. Here's the thing. Okay, Dot has entered. All right. I can hear an echo though, so let me just turn off the setting.
Dot, are you there? Okay, is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, do you have headphones by chance? I want to make sure that the hive can. Dot,
okay, I had you on the TV, so maybe that's why.
Oh, that's what I'm hearing is the TV.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, do you have headphones by chance? I think you got to turn your TV off.
Okay, I had you on the TV, so maybe that's
why. That's what I'm hearing is the TV. Dot, does that make sense?
Is that better?
I don't hear any echo. Okay. Anybody else hear an echo? I don't hear any. Dot, all right. Well, thank you for popping up. Like I said last night, if you had heard, what I was saying, that it would be at a moment's notice, drop of a hat. I really meant it. So thank you for not only, reaching out to my mods for us to get into contact, for then you popping up here. What made you even right now? You said, hey, let's just do it for Halloween. What made you say, F it? I'll come up right now. I'll come into the hive.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this has been going on for so long. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this has been going on for so long, and I'm so tired of so many misconceptions about things, I just really want for people to understand the truth, genuinely.
Yeah. So how about this? There are some people in here, Dot, that are familiar with your story, with how you kind of became, I guess you could say, like a focal point in the Idaho 4 case. Can you take us back to the beginning? Who was the first person that you reached out to?
In the beginning, and I'm gonna be completely transparent and be real with everything. In the beginning, I had somebody reach out to me, and they were talking about their experiences and what happened and what went on that night. And they were terrified, absolutely terrified. Like, I don't want to come forward with this stuff. I'm afraid. I believe that if people hear my voice, they'll know who I am. Yada, yada, yada. And like me, I was like, you know what? I genuinely, I felt a lot of empathy for that person. And I was like, I can't imagine what it would be like to be you and to want to share your word, but be afraid of things. And it was at a time where there was so much opposition towards anything other than the narrative that was being put out. It was just, here's what's going on. And anybody that went against that, they were shunned. And so this person that came to me and talked to me, I was like, you know what? I feel really bad because I don't think that they have the tough skin to be able to deal with the adversity that was going to come with that. So I was like, you know what? I will do the best to tell everything that you want me to tell in any way. And I didn't do it for clicks or attention or views or anything. Like, I genuinely wanted to get this person's story told out there. And it didn't matter to me how many people came at me. I just wanted to be able to tell their story. But unfortunately, people came for me and a lot of havoc went on with that. And then it was like, it stopped mattering about what they said. It was about me, and it's not about me. It's never been about me. It's been about what they've said,
Yeah. And I totally can appreciate what you just said. I'm not even halfway close to being in your shoes as far as claiming, knowing anybody out there. And rather, I'm just asking questions, and the stuff that I've gotten, like many other like creators have gotten. So I feel you on that to an extent. Can you clarify? So you did live in the house near 1122, but is the confusion of people saying that Dot came out and lied because there was confusion that at first you didn't say you were speaking on behalf of somebody that came to you with this information? Is there any way for you to clear that up?
Yeah. So me physically, my voice, who I am, I was not there in Idaho. I'm speaking on behalf of the person that I am close to and their experience.
And so that's the person that lives there.
Correct. So me, my voice right now, what I physically look like and everything has nothing to do with that. I was speaking as a person, and I did it the wrong way. I shouldn't have said that I was actually the person. I shouldn't have, because, I was found out. But I wanted for her story to be authentic. I didn't want, if I just came forward and said, oh, hey, this is the story that was on behalf of this person, I feel like it wouldn't have been as authentic if I said that it was my own story. And I really, because this person really has the truth, they really have the information, and they really were there. So I took it upon myself to be like, okay, you know what? I'll go ahead and say this stuff for you. And unfortunately, it blew up in my face because people found out who I was and then didn't believe her story. And that's really what happened. That's the genuine truth.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, that makes sense from a thought process standpoint, right? Because how many people could easily say, I know somebody, or like my cousin's out there, or whatever it is, right? Like everybody hears those stories. So what gave you kind of that idea? Was it the person that had told you this, or did you come up with that on your own?
Right. Well, so I talked to the person. This was very early on. There was a point where, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there were like Russian hackers that were coming into like TikTok lives, and
Yep.
They were claiming that, they even knew Brian's name before he was even identified. And they talked about a person being hidden in the Poconos and everything. So there were people that had knowledge of all this stuff before. And when she came forward to me and talked to me, I talked to her on TikTok and on 4chan. And I was the person that has been an advocate for trying to find the truth for things. So I was the truth seeker. So when she came to me, she confided in me because I told her, I was like, I don't care what happens to me. I will explain your story, and I knew that I was going to get heat for it. I didn't just think it was going to be that bad. I didn't think that I didn't really think people were going to care, because honestly, like, people didn't really care about what other people had to say. A lot of people believed it was Brian and believed the narrative. Like, I didn't really think that a lot of people would actually flock to that, but then it came forward, and as things were going on, it was like revealed, and then it was like, okay, you're not this person, and you're a liar, and you're this and you're that, but like, that's not truthful, because the things that this person has told me is accurate, and it's true. So
Yeah. And I guess my question to you is, when you were deciding, you know what, I'm going to tell this story as if I'm them, on behalf of them, was there any part of the details that you didn't believe? And if so, what were those?
no, I believed everything that she said. Because like, so I don't know if you're familiar, but there was a 22-minute Instagram live that went on at a party that night, that the person that I'm speaking for that was there, and I sent that video. It was one of the hardest things I had to do, because I was terrified to send that video, knowing the data would come back to that person, and then like I couldn't protect them anymore. But I sent that video to Brat, and Brat sent that to Steve. And if you go back and you look through the messages that Brat has with Steve, you can see that I sent that live Instagram of people playing beer pong, and it's there, and it's really what happened and what went on. But nobody has ever went through that. Nobody has ever talked about that video. Nobody has ever, like, out of all these people that have sleuthed, nobody has looked in and dissected that and like looked at the people there. And I've never understood that, because I literally gave proof. Like, I gave the proof that like this person was there, so I don't understand it. I never will. That video's never been debunked, and it's never even been verified, because nobody even talks about it. So like, what can I do if I'm going to give like a literal like Instagram live video of what's going on and people won't believe it? What more could I give,
So Dot, just to clarify, you're saying that the person you were in contact with had sent you the live.
Yeah, their friend they were live on Instagram for 22 minutes, and they were playing beer pong, and they were playing a game called Two Truths and a Lie. And they're like canvassing through the apartment and talking about, just having fun, talking or whatever, and playing beer pong. And this went on for 22 minutes. And I sent that video to Brett, who sent that to Steve. And I thought, you know what? After I send this, people are really going to believe it, because it's really going to be authentic. And then nothing happened with the video. And I'm like, what more can I do? Like, if the video was false, don't you think that the people that were involved in that video would have come forward and said, hey, you know what? I'm such and such on this video, and this is completely fabricated. Nobody ever did, because it is authentic, but nobody talked about it.
And was this video at 1122 for the beer pong, like in the photos that
No,
we see?
No. It wasn't 1122. It was at the apartment. It was at the party at the apartment.
And you're saying that the girls and everybody was there?
Well, it was literally the apartment party. So it was, everybody who was partying there, but it collaborated, and it solidified what she was saying, that like these were the things that were going on. You know what I mean? Like, here I am, this is where I'm at, this is what's going on.
So you're okay. I'm trying to also wrap my head around it, so I'm not just trying to ask repetitive questions. So you're saying the person that was telling you this, they sent you the Instagram story of them being live at a separate, not 1122 playing beer pong, to corroborate their details to you.
Right. So, okay. Right. The apartments that you look at, there's apartments that are, I don't want to say parallel, but I want to say that they're close to parallel, that if you look from your right hand side, from the top of the apartments, there's like a big tree, but you can see the back. Like that was the apartment where they were partying, and her friend went on Instagram Live, and they were just like messing around, laughing, playing beer pong, doing whatever. And that is like the view. If you actually look it up, people say that, oh, there's no view of that. There's a whole apartment complex that the top level not only has a view of that, but it's like an absolute perfect view to the back. So, I mean, that's what she sent to me to like prove to me that she was really there just partying and have a good time. So what she says checks out. Absolutely.
I got Google Earth pulled up. Which do you know? Like, could you point it out here?
Yeah. So like, if
this is 2025, by the way. So the house is gone.
Yeah. So if you were going up towards 11-12 and you are driving in as if you were like pulling in to go into the where the apartments are, if you look, like it's right after the dumpster, like on the left hand side, there's a whole top level of apartments.
Oh,
it was
this
actually there's actually body cam footage that was released because there was an officer that was canvassing and he was going through that apartment. But if you're actually on the top level, you can look towards the right hand side and you can see the couch and the back area of the house.
So are you talking? Can you see my screen right now, Dot?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So are you saying this dumpster?
You have to make it bigger. It's hard because there's comments. I gotta take the comments off.
And your camera is. I'll take the comments out. Your camera's off, by the way. So okay. So I'm gonna zoom out here. So 1122 is gone. This is 2025 here. So you're talking about to the left here or to the right? Where they can see in the back.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Okay. But the couch is going to be over here. So if they were able to see in, I mean, if you're standing in front of 1122 facing the house,
yeah,
I
right,
think it's
right where your arrow is, but on the left hand side. It could be, I guess somebody's right, but left hand side.
Okay. Because I do know that there's photos when the house was there, and I know maybe it's a little bit difficult without the house here, but it's like, when they do take the crime scene photos, there are photos from the balcony that you can see across.
They did. So they actually took videos that were showing right of that angle of like, if you go right past where it says 1122, right past where those apartments are, like right there to the right, like go to the right. If you go to the go like over past where there's 1122.
Yep.
No, it's like it's over more.
All right. So when you're looking at your screen right now,
right,
your left or my right?
You were close where you were at.
So can you see my cursor?
Yeah, I can see your cursor. So like if you just go a little bit to the right. Yep. Nope, the other way.
Okay.
It's going to be right in between the two apartments. Nope, the other way.
Okay, so you're saying in this area, in between the whites?
No, I'm saying like there's the two apartments that are right across from 1122.
Oh, these over here.
Yes.
Oh shit!
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I was totally misreading it when you were saying the apartments. Okay, that's on me.
Yeah.
Jesus
so
H.
that's though. Yeah, it's right there. It's the like the
where the picture was taken.
If you zoom in and you go and you look at the top 3 doors that are above on the, I guess you'd say, the right hand side, you can easily see the back of the house, and then you can see it's kind of hard to describe.
No, I can picture it. I can picture it. So I get what you're saying. You're saying, so from these apartments, was the dumpster you were like referring to was the one that was over here by the Banfield?
No, it was the other one. It was like when you come up there's like 2 dumpsters. There's one when you're coming in, and then there's another one that's like on the left hand side when you come in. Like, so there's that one. But you easily can see it.
I got you. Okay.
From that point of view.
I got you. So that's on me. I apologize that I
was. No, it's okay.
Okay. So then what about this now? What do you say to people that think you're doing this just for attention or for clout? Like, if you can even answer that, because I get it. People ask me a lot. No, are you just doing this to grift? But
what I can say is that if I really wanted to have like some huge like type of thing where I wanted people to, like, let's talk about Dot or whatever, I could have got on any channel. I could have went on any live. I could have like been persistent on my own and went through anything and created videos. I could have like been screaming through the rooftops to all of these different channels, like the Chaos Sector or True Crime Design. Like, I could have went to any of them and been like, put me on. I never received a penny for this, not a single penny. I never in any way got any like financial compensation. If anything, I got a lot of harassment, and if anything, I have I have dealt with a lot of depression from it. Like, it's not been anything that's been positive. So like, what would I gain from it? Like, attention to like be depressed, attention to like be made fun of or like put down, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, why would anybody want to have like that type of pain and go through that type of pain? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So when people say that, like, oh, it's for attention, like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could get into like personal details, but like, I haven't talked to like my actual brother in almost 3 years, and a lot of it has to do with this, you know? So like, why would I lose like my brother, talking to him, to just like say some story, you know what I mean? Like, with no money involved, like people that don't think about it, it blows me away, like how you could think that like this is because I want attention. Like, I'm not getting any good attention. I'm not getting anything that's like satisfying or relieving by saying these things. Like, if anything, I'm getting the opposition. I'm getting like nothing but hatred, or nothing but like people saying whatever they want to say about me. So it makes no sense that people say that, and I don't understand it, and I never will.
So, with that being said, right? Has anybody reached out to you to do a paid interview, or has there been a part of you that feels like you're holding something close to the vest where you're like, this is info people would pay for?
Yeah, I was reached out to do an interview.
Can you say the organization?
Yeah, Dateline was one of them, and I declined.
Okay.
Their contingency was like me sitting down. I didn't have to actually like have my physical face be shown, but I'd have to sit down, and they were gonna like kind of blur my face out and talk, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. And there was one other like an independent thing that somebody was doing, and they reached out to me, and I declined that as well. I have declined any type of anything that has to do with gaining any money or any kind of like, I don't care about any of that. I don't give a fuck about being popular or being a person that like, oh, people are going to talk about. I don't care about that. The reason why I did what I did is because I wanted this person's story to be told, because I believe that it would help Brian, because I really believe that in I infer that there is something really nefarious that was going on. And I wanted to be a person that could speak the truth, even in opposition of people that didn't believe me. Because back then, Birdie, like back in the beginning, everybody was saying that they were asleep and they were just killed in the sleep, everything. Like people were not even open to thinking about these things. And now that they're coming out, like people are kind of being that, but that's really where I was, like, to go against the grain, to be a person, to like stand up and be like, you know what, I know probably like 90% of people are gonna put me down and talk shit and like hate on me, and like to come out and to speak that was so hard. I couldn't imagine if she actually did, if it was actually her real voice. People would have spent months like trying to match her voice up to other voices of people and finding out how she was. And if they did, they would go and dissect her family and put her down, and and just pick apart just dissect every little part of her. And like knowing that, like I was like, okay, I'll take it on the chin for that. Like that's what I decided to do, for no other reason but the fact that like she deserved to have what was said told, because I don't believe that Brian did it. Not only do I not believe that he didn't do it, but like I have a strong belief on something else, and like I wanted to speak about that like anybody else would. It just happened that I was in a different position that somebody else was in. Like,
what was that something else? Actually, let me back up before I ask that. What, if anything, because when was the first time that you gave an interview? 2 years ago, about on the dot, almost. That was not meant to be a pun.
Yeah, right. Like, so here's what happened. Like originally, like I went into Brett Norton's TikTok live originally because there was all this speculation that was going on about like the Russian hackers and all this stuff, and I went in and just like said a small little comment, like, hey, like this is not what went on. And Brat reached out to me. She messaged me. She reached out to me, and when I say to you that she was adamant about talking to me, she was adamant about talking to me. She said that she was close friends with Howard Bloom. Howard Bloom is writing this story, like this compelling story, that she thought I could be a part of it. And she's like, yeah, you know what? You might make some money off of it. And I declined everything with that and was like, no, I'm not here because I want like some story bot. Like I'm trying to tell you truth. And when she reached out to Steve, if you go through the messages with Brat and Steve, Brat says, like, I completely believe Dot. I believe this, that, and like she pushed it and pushed it. Like if she really thought I was just some troll or just some random person, like she really pushed it out. Like, I mean, it to the point where Steve was like, okay, well, what's more credible about this? And when things got severed between her and I was the fact that like I did not want to go forward and like making this like some big, huge public thing. Like I didn't care about that. Like she wanted me to like get on to with more people and talk to more people, and I didn't want to do that. Like it wasn't about that. It was legit about this person and what they went through. Like that's what it was about.
Yeah, I've talked to Brat once or twice when I was just starting on TikTok, and I did a live with her. She reached out to me right away too. I haven't talked to her since. I don't even know if she's still covering this case, just because I haven't been on TikTok. But here's my question for you. you come out, you say that. It's a two-part question. Do you regret it in the fact of not just your approach on, I should have just, done it a different way, like you were saying, but do you wish you would have just went balls to the wall the first time that you had an opportunity and just boom, here's what it is. I am speaking on behalf of somebody. And then would that have maybe like empowered you to say things at that time you were hesitant to? And is there anything that today you can say you have not said yet?
Yeah, I completely regret it. I do. I feel like not only was it a reckless decision, but I regret it and think about it often. It was a very poor decision. It wasn't something that I really thought through. And I was at a point in my life, at the time that this was going on, where I was more vulnerable, and I was, I guess more impulsive than I normally would be. And when I look back on it, I should have never took the approach that I did. I should have sat down and said, hey, I'm a person that has spoke to this person, and I'm speaking on behalf of them, and I take full accountability for that. And I really do feel bad for anybody that may have been deceived or felt like me actually physically in what I was saying was affected by that. If I could go back, I would change it. But what I will never change is that the power in the story, and the proof, and the conviction in what I was portraying and what this person's story is. And I will always back this person and care for them, and put their story forward. And there's nothing that anybody can do that will stop me from doing that, whether people think I'm a liar or not. Like, I will always try to tell their story, because I know how hard it's been for them to go through what they went through. And that's the least that I can do.
Mm-hmm. Are you okay, Dot, with me? And you can absolutely, after I say this, you can say, no, I don't feel comfortable, because I know this is on the spot. I'm going to say this. Are you okay with me putting a request out to the Hive for questions that would make maybe some people that are skeptical about what you've heard feel more confident? And I could put them up on the screen. I can read them off. You can rattle through them. It could be yes, no. It could be 2 sentences about them. Maybe do 5 questions.
Yeah, we can do questions. I don't care.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, Hive. So, and Dot, can I ask you this? As we're waiting for the questions to come in, can you think back to anything that now, after like the general public who didn't have access to what you had been privy to, what is the biggest thing that you think would tell us all that had to be inside information?
Oh God, I'm afraid to say. I'm afraid, Birdie, to say what I'm gonna say, because I have a really good working theory and I have a really good understanding from what I've been told, and I'm afraid to say that, because that's a huge deal. That's a big thing. It's I believe that with the knowledge that I have, and the information I have, that I have a pretty good idea of what happened and what went on. But that's a huge thing.
Can you give us something, the people that maybe you'd give us a little bit of a taste so that we can latch onto it?
Yeah. So what I can say is that Kaylee was a person that she was very free in her dating. I want to say this in a very nice way. I want to be very respectful to her. Like, she was a person that was very freelance, and who she dated and who she slept with, and one of the people that she was sleeping with was an MPD officer, and that is kind of what started a lot of this of a snowball of what happened is first it was that, and then there was like events that kept going on after that, and after that they kept getting to that boiling point.
And so there's been people that have theorized that, and I see people in the chat, they're like, bro, be direct. I'm trying to be as direct as I can with also coming up with these questions on the spot here, right? So that wouldn't be the first time that a lot of people have heard that. Like, what made you decide that that's the working theory?
Right, because okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with there is a people identified like a suicide attempt on a frat. A guy, they said it was like kind of like a drowning incident, but it was
Hudson.
Yeah. So basically, like Kaylee, she was a sleuther, and she had been a sleuther. Like, she was looking into this missing person that she had called into the police, thinking that she seen this missing person. She was somebody that was looking into things. So she was dating this cop from the MPD, and she was telling this cop that she didn't believe that it was a suicide. She believed that it was a hazing incident that went wrong, and it was actually a murder. And so while she was dating this officer, not only was he cheating on his wife, but then she was trying to discover this thing, that was going on, and was going to him. And I think that the tension that kept happening between okay, if she finds out that this really was a murder, and then everything else, not only is my whole world gonna fall apart, but all of these other things are gonna fall apart. So it kept intensifying, and I think it took it to a point where he was like, I have no choice. It's my career and my family, and then also covering up, not wanting the media or people to understand that there was a murder. Because if we say there's a murder in the frats, what are people gonna think? They're gonna think holy shit, I'm not gonna come here. I don't want my son or my daughter, my kid, to be involved in that. So he had the pressure of that, and the night of the grub truck, Kaylee that was messaging the cop, and was she had liquid courage. She was intoxicated and was probably saying things that she shouldn't have said, and was explaining I believe this is what happened. And I feel he had, in my opinion, he had an intense fear with I'm gonna be exposed for having this affair, and then I have this girl coming to me about this, and I'm trying to keep hidden. And then maybe he was giving some coke or some Adderall on the side to the girls, and he was doing it to be cool because he was having relations with her. So now he's got the drug aspect. Now he's got to cover up, this, and then he's got his whole family. So he's put in a really compromised situation, and then there was rumors that possibly that she was taking pregnancy tests, and I don't know if she was pregnant, but maybe he felt that was the last straw. Okay, now if she's pregnant, my whole house of cards is gonna fall down. So in his panic, I think that he had intentions to just go in there and maybe just kind of threaten, but like things got out of control. You know what I mean? Like he went in there and it was to threaten, Kaylee, but he didn't know that Maddie was in the room, so he's doing that. And then like they say, like Xana comes up and is like, what's going on? So like originally, like, okay, I was only here for one person, I didn't know the other person was in the room. Now somebody's coming up, so like now I have like this whole other thing that I have to deal with, and I think that like after that, like they cleaned up and they were getting ready to get out and go about, and when they did, they seen Dylan, but they had already cleaned up and like already had everything put together. So like if they were to go and be like, oh my god, now we have another person, they had already cleaned up, so like they wouldn't have had extra clothes to deal with Dylan too. It would have been a whole other thing. So it'd have been easier to just be like, hey Dylan, you know what, shut the fuck up, don't say a thing. If you say anything about us or anything you've seen, like, we're going to come for you. And that's why Dylan was so distraught and was so, like, all over the place with what she said, because, yeah, she was lying, but it wasn't really her fault. But she still was like, I don't know what to say. So I have to, like, come up with something like somebody's passed out, like, because I can't say that, like, this happened. And there's rumors that Bethany wasn't even at the house. She didn't even come to the house till later. So like it would make complete sense that Dylan would be like, okay, you know what? I don't know what to fucking do. I'm gonna wait until the morning, and then I'm gonna message Bethany and be like, I don't know what to do. What the fuck just happened? Like, I don't know how to handle this. And then Bethany comes over, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna have somebody else call, like, you know what I mean? So it was like it was negligent, but it was also, her trying to do the best she can do, like with what she had. And that's really like when I think that like you go on the body cam when they're in the room, I think that like she had pregnancy tests, and like I think they were trying to take the pregnancy test out of like the vision of the body cam, because maybe they didn't know if she was pregnant or not, but they knew that like she was involved with the officer, and that's why they've covered up a lot of what they covered up, and I think that they didn't anticipate things going the way that they did, and unfortunately they did. That's why there's the officers talking here that people say that's outside, and it coincides with that because I believe that the officer's car, you know, he was there for Kaylee because he was seeing Kaylee, so it was normal for him to be there. And then when he comes to the crime scene, Murphy is not even there. He doesn't even budge at that. He was very comfortable with the officers. I think he was comfortable with the officers because he had to grow accustomed to knowing their smell and knowing who they were, so he was accustomed to it. That's why the dog didn't freak out and he was like compliant with that, is because the officer was already over there because he was sleeping with Kaylee. And I know it's a hard thing for people to process, but like that's really a lot of what I have people that have said, like that's legitimately what they believe went down.
And just for both of our sake, this is all alleged, right? I got a disclaimer on the bottom of the screen. I appreciate you saying all that, Dot. Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
What do you think? And so that's a lot to unpack. It's like a culmination of a lot of like tidbits of stuff that have, that people have said about the suspect vehicle 1 being the unmarked, Fusion hybrid, being the cops. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not Brian's car. Have you heard that?
Yeah. And I think that BK, like, this is what I think happened. I think that, like, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I think that while this cop that was sleeping with Kaylee and this whole thing was transpiring and then what happened went on. I think that BK was in the area because I think he was scoring. Maybe it was coke or whatever. I think he was there to get some drugs. He was up and he wanted some uppers. So I think he was there. And I think that like when he heard like, okay, like something's not right, like he could just tell something wasn't right, like anybody would. I think he was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I don't know what's going on, but like there's something not good going on. And like that's why he was like got out of the area, and it was for his own safety. But like people were like, okay, well, he was there and that, and like he probably was there, but he was there for a whole different reason. But can you imagine like you're gonna go and you're gonna score like some coke or whatever in the middle of the night at like 3:30 in the morning, and then you hear like some scream or like you see some car, you hear something, they're like, holy shit, like I don't want to be involved in this, like I don't like I don't want to come forward with this, like, and then you get out and you go away, and then like eventually you get framed for it, you know what I mean? So I think that he was like kind of just like, holy shit, I didn't think that this really was going to happen the way that it did. He was just there at the wrong time. And it makes sense that he was there at the wrong time because you also have Molly, who she was a dealer, and she very well could have been there to deal to Brian and could have been giving him something, and he was there, and then he just was like, all right, I don't know what to think about all this. And like, and that's why there's like that car situation. Like, it makes a whole lot of sense more that he was kind of there and his car was there, but for different reasons than actually like being in the house.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot, like I said, to unpack. Can I take you back to the beginning? Are you able to, as accurately as you can, tell us exactly what the initial story was that you were told, now given info that's public? Can you add anything to that original story?
Yeah, like the original story that was told to me, like,
yes, if you could take us to the beginning. So I know that was your theory. Your theory,
right.
I get you're playing off of what you had heard, but is there a way? I guess what I'm asking is, you were saying something, years ago that a lot of people, we had no idea if we were going to see. Now there's thousands of photos, there's thousands of documents, there's body cam, there's the call. Can you go back to that, and can you now say it without feeling like you have to redact yourself so much?
Yeah. So like it was in the beginning, like originally what was told to me is that like Brian and he had friends, and like Kopaka, Brian and Kopaka, like he had people, he was using drugs with people around in the area. And what I heard that was like very credible that a lot of people said was that they would break up like coke and everything in the car, and they would use, like it would either be a driver's license or like, a pocket knife or whatever, but they use stuff to cut it up. And that he was doing that with Kopaka, and
you were told this.
They had developed like a rapport with doing that stuff. And so that was part of the reason that people had thought, okay, well, you know what, like, could Kopaka be involved or whatever? But really it was just like, it was something like minor that they were just doing, like they were around and a part of, so there was like that scenario. And then there was a scenario of, here we are, we're going in we're going into a situation to where you have, it's so hard to describe, it's so really hard to describe, but like you have a situation where you have somebody that should have never been there, but they are there, for a different reason. And then you have an undercover cop that is been around the area, and it was like around Banfield, and they're in that area. And then, like, if you remember the grub truck, like, Kaylee was messaging somebody. If you go back and you look at the video of the grub truck, she is messaging somebody nonstop. She literally every 10 seconds is responding and messaging to somebody. Like, obviously, it's not anybody that's by her, and it wasn't Jack, obviously, because she ended up calling him later. So, like, she was messaging somebody, like, very urgently. And I believe that that was the officer that she was sleeping with and was messaging him. And and I think that when he came that night, he didn't really think that things were going to go like that bad the way they did, but I think that they did. And that's what transpired with all of it. It's hard to implement the police, because it's like, I'm afraid to say that and do that, because I know that that could like put a hit on me, or like put me as the target. But I really believe that to be true, that they went in there with the intention to just like if you think of Kaylee's wounds, like, people say it's a crime of passion. People are like, oh my God, like, think about it. If you have a knife and you could come at somebody, they could have killed her with just a knife. Why did they have to punch her in the face? Why would they have to knock her teeth out? Like, you have a weapon and you have control over that person. Like, to okay, I'm going to punch somebody in the face. You don't need to create that level of violence when you already have the knife. The only reason why you would do that is because it's a feeling of being like, okay, I can actually feel this, like, with my fist to somebody's face. Like, so I think that, like, it was personal with him being like, you know what? You're going to fucking ruin my family. You're going to destroy what I have. You're going to destroy my career. Like, everybody's going to know that I've slept with you, that I've been cheating, like, that I've been doing this nefarious things. Like, and it was personal for him. Like, I'm not just going to stab you. Like, I'm going to, like, fuck you up. Like, and that's, it makes sense, like, the passion towards that, like,
Yeah.
that is would coincide with that, and then if you look at the other injuries, that is just residual effects. Like, that's being like, okay, well, like, here's what I'm doing. And then you got this other situation, like, holy shit, I didn't plan. Like, you're gonna kill Kaylee. You don't plan for Maddie to be in the bed. Like, you're going and you're thinking they're in separate beds. You're just gonna go in and kill Kaylee, but holy shit, like, Maddie's in the bed, so now you have to kill her. And then you're gonna go down the stairs and you're like, okay, I'm gonna leave. But Xana's up because she's got the DoorDash. So she's like, holy shit, what's going on? So now you grab Xana and you go into the room with Xana and you're like, fuck Newt. Now I gotta make sure this bitch doesn't know what she's doing. So you're coming at Xana, and then in the midst of that, you see Ethan, so you're like, oh my God, like, I can't just leave this, like, sleeping giant to know, what the hell is going on with what I'm doing. So I got to take this person out. And in the end, as they're going to leave, like, you see Dylan, but, like, you're already exhausted. You're already tired. Like, you have already done everything that you can do to, like, get out of there. And you don't have the energy or, like, the willpower to keep going with that. So it's like, all right, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to tell you, you know what? You say or do whatever you're going to do. This is what's going to happen to you, and it was enough to leave out and to do that. But it would make complete sense that somebody would just be so exhausted that they would be like, I can't go forward and do another, murder.
Right. I see your point about not having, like, the stamina to do that. Is there, so a lot of the questions, and they're flying by in the chat. So a lot of people are saying, Dot, can you as good as you can remember, repeat what you were told at that time when you started giving your first interviews. So you said you were, or the person that communicated to you, smoking a heater.
Oh yeah, like from the beginning. Yeah, like I
can we start there as accurately as you can, and then okay,
yeah. So they said that they started partying around it was 10:30, 11. They started to party, and they were in the apartment. They were just in the apartment partying, just hanging out, playing music. They started playing beer pong, and then through the evening they started to play a game that was called Two Truths and a Lie. So, if you guessed what this person's lie was, then you would have to drink or whatever. And it was a whole game that they were playing, and this person went on Instagram Live, and they were showing that they were just playing and hanging out, and everything was pretty normal through the evening and until about a little bit after 3:00 in the morning.
Dot, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify for people in the chat, Dot is not talking about 1122 King Road there. Okay, she's talking about the apartments that I had shown on Google Earth.
Yeah.
Which are these here, where that's where that photo was taken too, of all of them together, correct? In that bottom area. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Exactly.
So my question is this: were the roommates and people at that party? And then if they were, they were not, right? So I'm just talking about what you heard. Why would somebody feel the need to contact Ann Taylor just by being at a random apartment party close by?
Well, it was because of the morning.
Okay.
Because in the morning, the people that are outside in the morning, and it looked like an average morning. You wouldn't have guessed that these people that were outside in the morning were people that had any idea of the fact that there were people that were murdered in the house. You would have never guessed that. So that's what is the mind-boggling thing, you wouldn't think that okay, there's a house full of people that are murdered, and these people are just outside hanging out, smoking weed.
I see. Okay, I get it. So you're saying that the person at that party that had gone live had seen Dylan, and I believe you said Emma, Demetrius.
Right. Yeah,
and the others.
It was Dylan. They knew it was Dylan, they said, because she was taller, more than the average female that hung out there. And then they knew that it was Emma, but they said they didn't know if it was Demetrius, but it was a black male, and because Demetrius always hung out with Emma, they presumed that it was that. And then there was an individual that was pale and had a kind of a dark blue hoodie on that was over their head, and they were just literally passing around a joint, hanging out like nothing. You would have never guessed anything was going on. You wouldn't think anything of it.
What did that person say to you about that? Because now after the fact, I cannot be the only person thinking that is so effing weird. And then you see the crime scene photos, and then all the redactions, national security, Koberger being there, yet no connection to the victims, right? Never stalked them. I don't want to interrupt you from telling, what you had heard originally. Did they say any other comments that you haven't said yet where it's
well, yeah,
something's off?
At a little bit after 3, they said that they had the window open of the apartment, and they heard that somebody was calling for Murphy. They had heard multiple times that somebody was calling for Murphy because Murphy had gotten out a lot. He was rambunctious, and they would let him out to go to the bathroom, and he would get out sometimes and kind of get a little rambunctious. So they were trying to find Murphy, and it sounded like a male was whistling to get, Murphy to come back. And then like shortly after that, there was a scream that was like really like just a very, it was just a very not good scream, and it was something that really bothered them. And they said that, even though they tried to like bypass it as like just like,
Did they have a gut
okay,
instinct?
weekend shenanigans, but it was really like a very just disturbing, a scream that they remembered that they're really traumatized from,
Man,
And then in the morning, they were like, they said that they couldn't like it was blocked off. Like when they try to leave, they didn't get to leave until like 1:30, but they had to walk all the way down because it was blocked off. But they said that like there really wasn't any ambulance, nothing like if there was anything, it was like way in front. Like they didn't see any bodies coming out. They didn't see any like transport from, into the house. Like it was weird. It was like the house was just there and it was like nobody was there. It was like it was being like, roped off, but there was nobody there because it didn't seem like anybody was like, I know that sounds weird, but like not tending to the bodies, but it was like there was nothing that was in there of significance, that it was just like the house, left over. I don't know how to describe it.
I mean, I think that is a good description. Did Blue Eyed Candy not only had sent in a super chat, they asked a question about did anybody say that they heard gunshots? And then Holly, if you want to kind of tag team this question, it says, as per blonde pale guy, has Dot ever seen a picture of Kaylee's cousin Hunter H? He is pale blonde Marine. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did anybody say anything about a gunshot?
No, like all that I heard was told was that there was an overdose. Like there was multiple overdoses.
Can we dive into that? Let's dive into this. Can you tell me what was said about that? As much detail as you can.
They said that like at around like 2:30 in the morning that somebody had overdosed like inadvertently, and that somebody was trying to like administer Narcan to them. This was like 2:30 in the morning. That
at
somebody,
King Road?
Yeah, that they were literally like, I mean, they were like between, I don't know how to say, between the apartments. It's hard to describe, but somebody had like overdosed and they had to give them Narcan to get them to like calm about. And that, because people were dabbling with drugs that they thought were just like, okay, just like party drugs, but they were more intensified. So there was that with like the Narcan, and there was a huge thing that it was an overdose, that like they got a hot pack, from the dealing, and that they overdosed and died, and that's what was going on. Like that's what a lot of people are saying. Nobody said anything about like a gunshot or anything. It was all about like it was an overdose. It was crazy that it happened, just like wild stuff. So when people were like, oh, there was like people that were like, murdered and stabbed, everybody was like, what are you talking about? Because everybody was talking about it being like an overdose.
Did that person ever see KG with the officer? And if you feel comfortable, can you say, was it Rosie?
You mean, can you repeat that?
So did the person that's relaying you this information, as we've clarified now, did they say that did they ever see Kaylee with Rosie, or the officer if it's not him?
Oh yeah.
Rosie specifically?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. So that, would you say that anybody that would come out and talk would say, yes, it is accurate that there was somebody who was having a relationship with an MPD officer?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, she was and I don't want to speak bad about somebody that's deceased. I don't want to say bad things about somebody in their character. We all have flaws, but she was somebody that actively got around it, and so she enjoyed the thrill of being able to have like that local officer, you know what I mean, like that would come around that she slept with, and even if they would come over for like noise complaints, like she felt like she kind of had the upper hand, you know what I mean? It was like a little thing that she had, so like it was no problem for her to have that. And he would go over there, he would literally go over there at times of night, like, and I think like on the job, I really think like he was on the job and he would go over there, and they would do whatever they did.
So, Dot, I got it. First of all, I want to be, this is, at the drop of the hat, like I said, I'm not trying to, cut this off or whatever, right? You can stay up here as long as you want. But out of respect for like everybody's time, let me ask you this. Is there anything that you've never said that you were told that you can now say based on documents being released that could connect other aspects of this? Like a bombshell, something.
Well, I mean, I think that Kaylee taking pregnancy tests and her possibly being pregnant is like a huge thing. And then with that officer that is married and has kids, like I think that's a really big deal. A really big deal. And I think that like when they redacted like the body cam, especially like when they went upstairs, like where the refrigerators were, and like on top where like cosmetics were, like them redacting that, I think they were redacting a pregnancy test. I really do.
I mean, see, I'm putting together a theory in my mind right now. Can you answer, was there anybody inside of that house that was a CI?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They were a confidential informant inside that house.
Oh yeah, Dylan was absolutely. She was, and she, like her and her boyfriend, they both like would like, okay, I'll do this and this for this, like 100%. Dylan was.
Meaning, I'll do this and this for this. Meaning, they were working with the cops to get let off of. Like, what were they in trouble for that they would be doing that?
Well, I mean, like it wasn't any extreme things, but they were. It was more so like, okay, you know what? If you show me this and this, then if something happens and something like, because her boyfriend, he would get in trouble for like little things here and there, but as long as he would tip the cops off, they didn't care. Like that's really what it came down to, and I think that they were like, okay, we're going to help the police because it's going to be to our benefit. But like at the end of the day, like really at the end of the day, that all they were doing is make things worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, are you talking about after the crime? Like she's saying, are you saying even leading up to it? Are you saying that leading up to it, Dylan was a low level CI, a high level CI? Because in my head right now, Dot, what I'm piecing together is this. We have the University of Idaho that is in a merger deal with the University of Phoenix worth hundreds of millions of dollars. there could be some sort of undercover operation on this Pacific, Northwest Highway with somebody in that house that is a low-level informant that ends up having an affair with a Moscow Police Department officer. That MPD officer just so happened to be there that night that this one person was back in town because the people that they were trying to gather information on, whoever it may be, came over, had some shit happened. The cop can't say shit because he's having an affair on his wife. The university can't say shit because they're in the middle of a merger with the University of Phoenix. The FBI can't say shit because they say, oh my God, it's going to come out that we were using people's kids as pawns to take down the area knights, the cartel, whatever it is. We need a fall guy. Let's throw it on the awkward dude that's a PhD student that was tailing Molly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like it was pretty much like, okay, like there was this hazing event that people believed was murder. Like people believed that it was not suicide, that the frats went overboard and the officers knew about that. And Kaylee was a sleuther, so she was trying to figure that out. And she was like, while she was sleeping with the officer, she was telling him like that I'm trying to figure this out. And like he also is married and he has kids, and like so like, and he even now and again would give her a little bit of cloak and stuff, like, like, hey, to party and stuff, to be cool, quote unquote. Like, so he's in a position to where now like she's trying to figure things out, and like they're sleeping together, and then like there's this other thing going on. So like his hands are tied behind his back. Like he's got to figure out something to do to alleviate this situation because it's not going to end well. And he thought that it was going to be fine because Kaylee said she was moving away. But if you remember what Dylan said, Dylan had said that like she decided she was not. She was going to try to stay around and maybe be with Jack. And I think that like that officer was like, holy shit, like I thought she was going to go away and this was going to go away. But now she's going to stay around and she's here. And like, what am I going to do now? Like, how am I going to deal with this? So I think he panicked, and I think that he reacted from panicking. And then like, maybe she was thinking she might have been pregnant. Like maybe she was messaging him and saying like, I think I could be, or I'm taking tests. And I think that was even more for him to be like, holy shit, like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to take care of this situation? And so maybe his intentions were to go in there or with other people, and they were going to just like try to intimidate them, but it didn't go the way that they thought that it would, because shit, like they were like, not okay, we're not gonna have an impression about this. So like they were like, okay, we gotta do what we gotta do. So that's why the police were covering things up, because that officer probably went to the police and was like, hey, look it, I was having an affair, I was with her, this, that, and the other. These
She's
things
pregnant,
could come out,
potentially.
like, you know what I mean? Like, my whole reputation could be fucked up. So what do you got to do? You have to help cover this up for me, So they helped to cover it up, and everybody else was residual from, like what they were trying to do. Like, it's really like everything that I've heard is like what adds up to that. And that's why, like Steve said, like they didn't have to go upstairs. Like that's why he said like they didn't have to go upstairs. Like that's what makes the most sense about him saying that they didn't have to.
Because, wow. Hang on. And then Ricky just said, and that's why Kaylee's phone was never given back to the family. because the evidence in her phone.
Right. And if you look at Kaylee's injuries, not only like if you look like here's what people don't understand is like Kaylee was physically with like hands and objects of beaten like if somebody has like a knife and they have the opportunity to hurt you in that way, but they choose to physically harm you, like they want to physical on contact, like they like so that was a personal thing. Like so this person was like, you're gonna ruin my life, ruin my family's life, ruin my career. Like I'm gonna like physically show you that before I do these other things. And it was the residual. Like I think that after he did Kaylee and didn't know Bethany was in the room, I think he was going downstairs, and I do think that Xana was in the kitchen with her food and was like,
Dylan, you mean?
Yeah. And I think that like she was in with her food, like, oh my God, what's going on? So I think that he was like, holy shit, like I gotta take care of this person. He didn't know that Ethan was in the room, and then Ethan like bear hugged him. Like I think like put him like almost in a wrestle hold, and that's why they had to do what they had to do, like, with the backsides of, his calves, and his quads, like, because they weren't expecting that, like, and he's intoxicated, so he's gonna have like a drunk hold, So like after that, after all that stuff goes on, you're exhausted, you're tired, like maybe you like took your clothes off or whatever to like put other clothes on. You're getting ready to leave, and then you see Dylan, and Dylan's like right there, and you're like, my clothes already changed. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Like, if I go and try to fight her, like, who knows what's gonna happen? Like, it's not even worth it. Like, I'm just gonna go out the door. Like, it was not even worth it at that point. To do that, and I think that that's why that person was like, okay, I'm just gonna go out the door. And like, who's gonna believe this person, like this girl, is a party goer, she's drunk and high, like who's really gonna believe her? If anything, people are gonna think that she's a part of it because she was there, didn't say anything. So like it worked in their favor.
What you just said, if Dylan was as fucked up as it originally came out as, Molly, drinking, weed, whatever it was, right? And if Bethany wasn't there and all that's going on and I believe what you had said in one of your initial interviews, and if you could confirm this, the bushy eyebrows and seeing them face to face she was berated to say that.
Oh yeah. She initially said
what you just said about the Xana in the kitchen, the bear hug, I'm not saying that it could just even be one oh dude, I don't even know what, because the factor of Dylan truly being berated, which we know her story has changed, right? We know that it's changed. We know that it's progressed as every time that she's been on camera. So if she was initially said, or if she was told to say, hey, bushy eyebrows face to face, like if you would swear on your life, Dot, for whatever it's worth, for whatever, credibility this would be, you would say DM was forced to say that.
Oh yeah, 100%, 1,000%, 1,000%, 1,000%.
Because she was messed up and she was actually passed out type shit.
No, she was drunk, and I think that she was a little high, and I think that like it would be easy to be drunk and high and to kind of like just like kind of navigate anything, but like that she was adamant absolutely adamant that she'd never seen any bushy eyebrows, like the whole clad in black thing. Like, she was literally like, it was all pushed on her, and I think it was pushed on her before even they were outside, like even before the first interview where she's outside. Like, I think that like the officer came to her and was like, okay, you're gonna say this, like you're gonna say that there's this person, they look like this, like, because like she says pretty much at 4 a.m. she has said like that's nothing of what happened. She never seen anybody, in that way, like nothing. She she never seen anybody ever. Like, legit, her story was she'd never seen anybody. And so she like made these things up as she went on, and that's why she couldn't identify him. That's why like her story changed about what she seen, like what he was holding. She never seen like that actual picture. Like,
Nope.
and that's
Never
what
opened
she
the door. Never opened the door.
Like, she opened the door one time to kind of hear what was going on, but she never seen anybody. She never came in contact with like any male or anything like that. Like, nothing. It was just opening the door one time and kind of like not understanding what's going on. But I think at some point she was like, okay, there's something really bad that went on, and she was afraid. But Bethany was not there. Bethany was not there that night until way in the afternoon. She was not there. So like Dylan was obviously scared by herself. Like, she was there by herself, scared, and that's like what triggered her to go on her phone and to like try to self-soothe and be on different apps and stuff like that. Like, she was not with Bethany.
Wow. What, can I ask you one more question? And thank you for being so gracious with your time, Dot. The cleanup. Any insight?
Yeah. So like, when it comes to that, like, I think that Dylan was aware of this affair that was going on, and I think that like this officer grew accustomed to being around the house and like talking, and I think that he went to her and was like, hey, listen, like, I genuinely think he was like, you know what, you gotta fucking help me cover this shit up. Like, you have like
familiar with him being at the house. Oh, you're on mute, Dot. Dot, you hit mute. Dot. It says that I cannot unmute my guest because they chose to mute themselves. So you're going to have to unmute your mic.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry. Like, if Dylan, like, it wouldn't matter what Dylan thought, because like, if somebody came forward and said, you know what, if you say what you're gonna say, I'm gonna do A, B, and C, like, they might have said, you know what, you're gonna help me cover this up. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna clear up, the hallways, which would make sense because there's all this blood. We're gonna try to clear the hallways up, or like, they even said there was blood splatter that was right when you're gonna go down the steps to go on the outside, like that was on the wall, which would make no sense. Like, you wouldn't be able to get the splatter unless it was hitting something that would ricochet off of that. Like, so they were like, okay, you're gonna try to do the best you can do to clean this up, and you're gonna go about your day and pretend like everything's okay. And if you don't, then this is what's going to happen to you. Do you think that, like, she wouldn't be like, all right, I'm going to do whatever the hell you say? Like, and if she went forward and tried to say to the police, oh, hey, the police are doing this, nobody would believe her. Nobody believes people that speak the truth. When you try to come and speak the truth, people do everything they can to debunk you and criticize you and ridicule you, and like just like you literally have no, you're at the stake. You have no choice. So what choice would she have to be like, okay, fine, like I'll comply. Like, I understand why people do what they do because they have no choice. Like, people are so easily just influenced by, like, okay, this person's a fraud or this person's this. Like, nobody really actually looks at the truth. So it wouldn't matter. Like, if Dylan came forward today and said, I seen an intruder, it wasn't Brian, he did A, B, and C, nobody would believe her because people are so convinced of the other truth. Like, so why would she go forward and do that? It wouldn't matter. Like, she's in a lose-lose. Like, people already think she's a liar, and a deceiver. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the same thing that goes with the person that I'm talking about. Like, nobody would believe her information coming forward. Like, this person has information that literally could help to exonerate Brian. Like, legit, like, if this person came forward and talked with somebody credible, could literally help to set him free, and people don't care about that because they want to think like, okay, we're gonna go in intricates about Dodd and trying to figure out who they are. Who cares about that shit? Like, let's care about what the fuck the message is. You know what I mean? Like, that's the message, is like somebody could help to really get him free. Who fucking cares what you think about me? I don't care if you think I'm gay or you don't like me. Who fucking cares? Like, there's a message to be told. Like, people don't get that. Like, people just don't get that.
Especially around this case. And Dot, I gotta say, again, for being at a moment's notice for you to come up and you really didn't shy away from any questions. I feel like you did answer them in a very similar way to what you've been saying. I lied. I said I had one question before this. This is my last question. What do you think it would take for the original source you spoke to for either the video or them to do an interview? Like, meaning the video of the 22 minutes to come out or an interview?
I have been willing.
Not in here, but in general.
I have been willing, and I'm still willing to bring forward all that, and to bring forward that interview, to bring forward that video. Like, I am willing to literally bring that forward on anybody's platform that it is going to be open-minded. I literally will bring that forward to anybody that wants to hear it. But I feel like nobody does. But if somebody wanted to, I will literally give that video again like I have, and give forward anything that you want to hear about that. Like, I am open about it. Like, I don't care what people think. Like, I've called the police. I've been on the phone with the FBI, with literally, like, on three-way with the FBI. Like, I've literally told them, people, they have not come back and talked to me. Like, I've literally said, like, these, like, do you remember when you canvassed and did this? Like, they do not care. Nobody will come back and talk to me. Like, and I'm willing to show them proof, like, not just some BS, like, statement, but nobody cares. So it's like, what does it even matter? He's convicted. Nobody cares, you know? Like, I will bring anybody on your channel and I will bring like whatever evidence, but it's never mattered because people just think it's a lie, you know? And it's like, I'm exhausted with like trying to explain it.
Dot, I'm going to ask the chat this. Chat, type a 1, and I want you to only answer respectfully, or honestly. You can be respectfully if you choose to. 1, if you think that you would be okay with Dot presenting it in here. 2, if you're like, take that shit somewhere else. Okay? And Dot, I say that because we got great mods. I don't know. Do you ever tune in to the Hive prior to this?
I have a few times. I mean, I don't really watch much of anything, but I have watched the Hive a little bit. And
we're very open, actually, you know? So, I mean, you got hello ones coming in right now. I don't know if you were meaning like anybody's platform, you know, like the little old hot, like the little
Birdie.
old here.
Birdie, I can tell you, I'm not a liar, and I'm not just some troll or anything. I have gotten nothing but criticism from doing this. I can tell you with like in my heart, like I have received no gratification from doing this. If anything, it's been nothing but hardship and just being completely depressed from, you know, responses. Like, I get nothing good off of this. I'm doing this to try to help this person. I can promise you, like, that's what's going on. And if people don't believe it, and they think I'm like trying to get clout for what? Like, you see how many people hate on me in the chat? Like, what am I trying to get clout for? Like, clout? I'm not getting people don't even like me. How am I getting clout? Like, I'm literally so disliked that, like, if you bring my name up in a chat, like, people are like, oh, that's a liar. That's a trans. Like, I literally, like, it doesn't matter what I do. Like, people hate on me. Can you imagine, like, trying to come forward with a story and try to be courageous and try to, like, live by standards and, like, talk about something and have people to, like, put you down, make fun of the way you look, make fun of, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I do, because I mean, Dot, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's two separate things with what I'm doing and what you're doing, right? Like, I'm asking questions about stuff that I hear, including stuff like yours. You know, but I'm not the one that's saying I know that this is real because I believe this person and I'm going to put it out there for them. So, you know, I can't say that I've experienced exactly that. I think what you're doing and what you're saying right now is, you know, it is courageous. You're the only one that's going to know your truth at the end of the day. And if you're confident in that, and and it sounds like you are very, like, full of conviction when you say that right there. I want you to know, right? You're always going to be able to come into the Hive. I'll have anybody in here, but especially somebody I believe you have stayed consistent, whether or not people want to say it's BS. It's a bunch of made up lies. In my opinion, you have stayed very consistent to your story. You have not wavered. You've shared personal stuff about it. And I appreciate you for being willing to come up here and do that. And I know people on the internet, they're fucking mean at the end of the day. They're fucking mean.
Hey, I can say really quick that I lost my dad to cancer in 2017 from leukemia. And I heard that you lost your dad from cancer as well, and I can say, like, I have a lot of respect for you, and I understand because I lost my dad too that way, and I really am a really good person, and I do the best I can do to help other people, and
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I got a lot of respect for you because I lost my dad to cancer as well. So I respect your channel and what you do, and
I appreciate that. And
I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, but like I heard you on Tommy Jude, and Tommy Jude initially he didn't really like me, but then he messaged me and said, "Hey, Dad, I believe you, and now I know he's going through cancer, and I know you understand like what that means for him and stuff like that." So, like, I just want to say I appreciate you and thank you for respecting me and being real and giving me an opportunity to speak. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words that you said. I'm very sorry for your loss. I mean, I don't know Dot, right? I mean, Dot, this is the first time we've ever spoken in person, and I can just tell you, like, one of the things I preach is that I'm who you are, or who you guys see is who I am. And Dot, I feel like through just your voice, it's very obvious you've endured a lot, and I think that it does take a lot to get up here and continue to say stuff like that. And I wish I had something better to say other than people are mean, people are judgmental, but there's also really good people out there. Dot. There's a lot of prayers coming into the hive right now. There's a lot of people that are giving, sending hugs, and including myself. Worst, like literally the worst case scenario, Dot. Right? You get some details wrong, fully fabricated, whatever. It doesn't take away from the fact that you're you're a real person, even if it's the full truth. Nope, you're never gonna please everybody, ever. Right? Nobody is. There are people that think that I'm a fucking Latin king. Okay, think about that. That's a literal rumor. Okay, so it just goes to show the internet's crazy. I don't want to keep you up here longer than you might want to be. I will match the gratitude that you just had. Thank you for popping up here.
I'm sorry that maybe I was deceptive in the fact that I didn't completely explain that I was speaking for somebody else. I'm sorry for that. I genuinely am. My only intention was to help this other person. That was my genuine intention, and it's hard. It's so hard. It's hard because I really was just trying to help somebody else. That's all I was trying to
do. Can I ask you a question? Do you think that person, like, have you and that person spoken about this situation going on?
Yeah, I did, and they told me, they're like, you know what, just let it go. Just like when I went on Melissa Jade, I was so fed up with that. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna say I'm just some piece of crap. I'm just some troll. Like, I was so desperate. I was so desperate to try to get it to stop. I had people swap my house, like legit swap my house. Like, it was so bad. I'm like, it's okay. Let's just let it go. Like, I'm a liar. Believe I'm a liar. Believe everything I said was a lie. Like, I went on to just do that because I'm like, I'm so tired of like having to go through this. Like, it's better to just say that I was a liar than, you know what I mean, deal with it.
And really, so to clear the air, the lie was that you were the person that you were speaking on behalf of.
Yeah, I'm not the actual person that's seen what happened. I'm not the actual physical person that's seen what happened. But I'm telling this person's story because I believe in them. I love them. I care about them. I believe in what they're saying.
And I you know what?
So I'm sorry if I was deceptive in any way to people that made them mad. If I didn't really reiterate that, if I'm sorry that people don't like me because I was deceptive on that, I'm sorry for that. I openly admit it. I'm sorry. I really was trying to do the best that I could do for this person, and I didn't do it in a perfect way. I was kind of a mess about doing it, but my intentions were nothing but good. I promise you. I'm sorry for that. If I did, I genuinely want everybody to know, like, if I did something that was deceptive or something that you disliked, I'm sorry if I did that. I didn't mean to do that. My intentions were to help this person. I really believe that, and I didn't maybe go about it the right way, but I'm sorry.
Well, I can tell you this. I believe that, you know what, and I'll get hate for this. And I'm very aware of what I'm saying right now. I believe the voice that I hear kind of coming through the headphones, that there is like real, like there's a real person behind this voice. There's real emotion right now. And you know, if your intentions were to do that on behalf of somebody and you felt that would be the best way, I don't know what other way you could do that. If they weren't going to do that, but you felt strongly and that person gave you the green light for it, so be it. But I can tell you that I believe that right now what I'm hearing is absolutely genuine emotion. And if anybody doesn't, I don't know what to say. I mean, it makes sense why you would feel like that's the decision you made, was to talk on behalf of somebody. You then come out and you say, well, it wasn't me. And then it's just this entire spiraling effect.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, like, from the bottom of my heart, like, I just wanted to help this person. That's it. That's genuinely what it was. I just really wanted to help this person. I don't care about anything about anybody related to me, and I don't care if anybody likes me, or I was just trying to help this person. They came to me and they told me, like, this was what going on, and I felt like, you know what, I could do something to really help this person. Like, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I thought I was helping this person, and I really did. I really genuinely did. I'm not a bad person. I'm a really good person. Hive, if you got to know me, you would know I'm a really good person and you would love me. I'm not a bad person. I just did what I needed to do, and then people have just, like, put me down, and I don't want to get a sad story of just saying that, like, it's so hard for me when people just don't believe me and I'm telling the truth. Like,
Well, Dot,
I'm sorry, Bertie. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to me. I'm not cutting you off because of this. I just think in general, I've been going for about 3 hours, 20 minutes. I think right now is a good time. I think you had a chance to absolutely speak your heart, right? I think everybody in the hive would agree with that. And Dot, I will I'll shoot you a message on Discord. We'll talk in general offline. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll figure something out. But thank you so much for popping up.
You have a good night, Birdie.
Yep, you too. Thanks, Dad. All right. Wow. You know, I guess when I said the other night, hey, at the drop of a hat, I will have Dot on. I did not expect that it would be the next day. Thanking everybody that, did send questions. I don't really know what to say. I saw somebody put a comment up there that was like, Birdie's already getting hate because of just having her on. Guys, how do people not understand what the fuck this channel is yet? How do people not get it? What is there to talk about? Oh, there's a guy who wants to hear anything and everything about this specific case right now. Let's go shit on him. He's got people in his chat that believe this. He's got people in the chat that believe that. Like, what is there to hate on? If you hate on the Hive, you don't understand what it is. It's just remarkable. And like I said, there has to be a certain intensity to what we're doing, because at the end of the day, here we are talking theories. I'll have Dot on. I'll have Will on. And you know what? Maybe it's also time. Maybe it's a little bit overdue to say maybe the Hive needs to start like flexing the muscle of who's going to come into the Hive compared to all your channels, right? Who's going to come into a place and do a live stream and actually trust the host to not have a gotcha moment, and is going to trust the mods to keep the chat on point. That's not trying to be cocky. What we say when we look through every lens, and this is a contrarian thinking live stream, we mean it through and through. You can disagree. You can agree. You can not chat. For fuck's sake, what is everybody mad about? Because I'll take this theory and then I'll talk about that theory. Why do anybody in the chat have to have a specific theory that they are dialed in on? Are we professionals? You know what? I know of one person in the chat, and oddly enough, his name is 11. He's an NYPD officer. Are any of you detectives? Do any of you have a detective's badge? Are any of you having access to what the professionals do that everybody wants to say, let the FBI investigate it? Okay, we're not the professionals. So if you're going to call us out for not being the professionals, why wouldn't we look at everything without having to be, quote, professional about it? And that's what the Hive is, and I don't give a fuck what you think about it. I'm going to continue to do this. Everybody that tunes in is going to continue to tune in. There's going to be more and more and more and more and more guests that want to come on this stream and come in this chat because we are open to it. And a lot of people can't see that. I don't get it. I don't talk shit about other creators. I don't ever go out of my way to insert myself into drama. Anybody that tunes in that like helps me out, whether it be my mods, whether it be people that do clips of the stream, they don't involve themselves on behalf of me. What is the issue? Because I had Dot on. Oh my God. Cry me a fucking river, you pussies. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with people? How do you know? Were you there? So we're going to go and we're going to shit on the pros. And we're going to say, the FBI, they're corrupt. LE is corrupt. Hitler's corrupt. Bill Thompson's corrupt. Scott Green's corrupt. So they all got it wrong. and we'll call that out. But let's zero in on Dot. Let's zero in on Will. Give me a break. How could you even do that? How could you think that you got Dot? I'm just using this because it's relevant. Crying, telling people, I'm so sorry. My intentions were not that. Yet, on the other hand, say, Brian Koberger might not have done it when that motherfucker didn't say a word. He didn't say anything. Did you see any emotion from him? So it's like, why isn't he saying anything? Oh, well, that's legally strategic. Whatever excuse you wanted to say, that's fine. It's a matter of principle of you can't have it both ways. How can you shit on somebody that's literally saying, I made a mistake and is in tears? And then on the other hand, go and say Brian Koberger might not have done it. And everybody else is corrupt and lying. So everybody's lying but you, huh? That's what it is. You're the pro. LE's corrupt, like I said. FBI's corrupt. Hitler, Thompson, Dot's lying. Will's lying. Everybody's lying, right? But you got it. Yeah. I'm sure you do. And that's why I don't claim to say this is what happened. And people don't get that. Nobody in here is claiming this is what happened. No, how do people not understand? There is a reason for it. So therefore, theorizing, hypothesizing is probably the most intelligent way to go about this case. And to anybody that wants to talk shit about me having Dot on or Will on, or if I get WSU Kim on, or whoever I have on, please at least have a reason for it. Have a reason for hating on that. And if it's because I don't stick to a theory, that is the stupidest reason I've ever heard in my life. I just don't understand it. You know, let me, see now I don't want to get myself that pissed off. There is way too much shit that I deal with personally because I've chosen to start a stream that doesn't make any factual claims, that says this is a contrarian thinking live stream, that allows everybody to agree or disagree, that has a multitude of guests on. The amount of comments or messages that I get that are threatening are pathetic. I wasn't joking about the lawyer thing. I wasn't joking about people's usernames being in a folder in an attorney's fucking file at all. I'm dead ass serious about it. The other part is that you think that it's going to affect me. It's not. And it's not saying, please try me. I don't want it. I don't want that shit either. What I'm trying to say is, what is the argument for the hate? What is it? I don't know if there could, like, you could dislike me and maybe my approach, maybe the way that I talk. But I don't understand. I don't dox people. I don't fucking do anything other than socialize theories. And I'm never going to stop doing that, Hive, and I don't want you guys to stop doing that either. So I will continue to see this case through and hopefully many more in the future. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow, everybody. Cheers.
Birds flying high sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.